I think white people are fucked up and they can't help it. I really do believe that. The more I sit around and read their comments online, I don't even know how y'all defend this shit. It's sitting right there online. All you got to do is read comment sections and look at all the typical fake outrage. But we're going to talk about this Brittany Griner situation that I really don't give a shit about, have not given a shit about, have not spoken on, do not care. I mean, I cannot emphasize that shit enough. Okay? I do not understand people who go to, these other countries that are borderline or are totalitarian dictatorships and fuck around. It's like years ago, some of y'all forget because you're not old enough to remember, but the white dude that went to Singapore and got his ass caned. Or the other white dude that went to North Korea and fucked around and found out and ended up being shipped back to the U.S. brain dead. And Brittany Griner, with the marijuana shit, the rest of the world, by and large, does not play with drugs. Drugs are a serious crime. You know what I mean? So they threw the book at her ass, and yes, they used her as a political tool and all that other shit. And that's what they did. It happened right at the time when the Ukraine conflict was kicking off. So, I'm like, you get caught doing any stupid shit, they're going to make an example of you. Then on top of that, you have the whole fact that, she's LGBTQ and seems like she's taking hormones to change her voice because she sounds like a damn dude. She's married to, a black woman. So here you got essentially two black women, even though I think she's mixed, but you got two black women, LGBT, right? So then Biden comes in and, his administration, intervenes and shit. And, which is really about the LGBT. It's not really about black people. It's like if you had a hierarchy of needs or whatever, it would be LGBT prioritized at the top, then black women, or then women, and then black, you know what I mean? Or and then like U.S. citizen, right? Or you can move U.S. citizen around. But LGBT is at the top of that pile. And so, again, gayness and all this, sweetness rising to the top, cutting the line, on black people, which, is the group that gets Democrats elected. But black people want to be as simple-minded as they can be, and then they, we want to be all, open with our shit as opposed to prioritizing even ourselves. Yes, black women, I give you a side eye because you brought a lot of this bullshit into the space, and so now everything is about everybody else but black people. It's never black people first. It's always, what's going on with, the Syrian refugees and LGBT and what's going on with the Mexicans at the border and what's going on, with women. We must put women first, all this other shit, right? And anything that's a black agenda is pretty much off the table. And then there's all this like smokescreen bullshit like what you see with Brittany Griner, where it's like she's black, she's a woman, and she's LGBT. Like as though that is conducive to empowering the black community. But that's a whole nother conversation. But I see what the Biden administration is doing. Like, it's like, yeah, free her because, she's LGBT. And then, that gets them brownie points with even the white LGBT community because a lot of them only care about LGBT-ness, at least, for, promotional purposes. Right. But anyway, let me get off the gender shit. But I go into the comments section and I'm looking at all these white folks that are foaming at the mouth about Brittany Griner. I could read them to you, but I'll just put the links in the description box, and you can read them for yourself. But they're why you let her go? And what about this Marine, Marine Whelan? What about him? Right? And they're going off. Ain't nobody even talking about Mr. Whelan for at least 2 fucking years. And all of a sudden, now it's, what about him? He's a white man. How dare you put this LGBT black woman before, this white man? So you got that element of the racism bullshit in there. That's baked in there, right? He's a Marine. He's a soldier, and he fought for this country. And Brittany Griner, she disrespected the flag. So now we're back to that Colin Kaepernick shit. Now we're back to, always and forever white people questioning black people's patriotism. Questioning black people's patriotism. Black people have fought and died for this country even when they weren't full recognized citizens. They were second-class citizens. And somehow, right, we still get brought up in terms of how, if we file a complaint, a grievance against America and Americans' racism or historical bias against black people, our patriotism comes into question. That's what's so, annoying all the time, right? But I'm gonna tell you what's funny about, this Whelan guy, right? Or Whelan. I did a little bit of research, and I'll put the links in the description box. So while all these white folks are running around foaming at the mouth with their fake outrage about, he's a Marine, and why is he still in jail, right? They're up there bitching and shit. I'm like, so this man, what is he charged with? Why is he in Russia? He's in Russia for espionage. Okay? Over the course of the last decade, he's been flying back and forth, to Russia for whatever reason, right? Like when you go on vacation, right? You go to a country like, you're checking the bucket list. I've been to Russia, I seen the damn, what do you call them? Them dolls that go inside of each other. I bought a couple of those. I stood in front of the Kremlin. Okay, and I'm done. Off to the next country, right? I'm just saying, if you're a globetrotter. But this dude, over the last 10 years, been going back and forth to Russia multiple times, right? Not to mention, this man has 4 citizenships. Not one. He's not just a U.S. citizen. He's a Canadian citizen. He's a British citizen. And he's an Irish citizen and a U.S. citizen. So he's got 4 citizenships. I got to throw up the Umar Johnson.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I sure as hell find that suspicious, right? On top of that, of him being a U.S. Marine and linking up with some Russians, some ex-military Russians, on social media, he is the lead executive of a security company.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I sure as shit do. So I'm just sitting here looking at the shit, and I'm like, there's more to it than just like, it's like Brittany Griner, plays on the basketball team, was just there to play basketball, stupidly brought her vape, was smoking some weed, thinking, I ain't gonna get caught. How did she even get it there? That's my question. Because you gotta go through the U.S. customs to get it. So she was able to get through U.S. customs to go to Russia, but yet gets caught on the way back. I'm like, how do you even pull that off? But whatever, I guess TSA agents aren't always on top of their game, right? But so she gets jammed up, and they throw, fucking, what did they throw at her? 9 years, 10 years for weed? I'm like, that seems a little bit excessive. It's not like she was selling the shit or distributing the shit. It was in her own vape. But that's neither here nor there. You got caught, right, in fucking Russia of all places. Real smart, right? But then you go over and let's compare that to Mr. Whelan, who's got 4 nationalities and is an ex-Marine and head of a security company. You don't find that suspicious? Right? So they're saying he got caught because one of his Russian quote-unquote friends even though he was supposed to be there for a wedding, slipped a USB drive in his pocket that had, top secret Russian information on it. And that's how he got caught. And he denies it and says, oh, it was slipped in my pocket, and I didn't know that it was there, and I was just going out, hanging out with my Russian friend, and he set me up, and I was just here for a wedding with another Marine who was marrying a Russian woman. Now, I don't know about, who or how many, ex-military individuals are going over there and finding Russian girls. I don't know. White guy has been doing the whole mail order bride, get you a Ukrainian bitch, get you a Russian bitch. They've been doing that shit for a while. So maybe that's a thing. I don't know. But the whole story seems kind of suspicious, don't you think? Shit don't add up. So again, while all these white folks are in the comment section foaming at the mouth, I'm like, why don't you do a little bit more digging and a little bit more investigation as to what's really going on before you jump up, with your goddamn capes out? Why aren't the British saying anything since he's a British citizen? Why aren't the Canadians saying anything since he's a Canadian citizen? Why aren't the Irish saying anything since he's an Irish citizen? I haven't seen them bitch up a storm. But here it is. Americans didn't give a shit about what was going on with him for 2 whole fucking years. Or 3 years, technically. And then all of a sudden, Brittany Griner gets released in exchange for this Russian, arms dealer. Which I'm saying, who do you think is going to get caught? Like, we don't have anybody from Russia in prison that's in Russia on some bullshit because they were smoking some weed. Like, motherfuckers get caught, in the U.S., they get caught on some real shit. You know what I mean? But yet, that doesn't compute with people. I'm like, of course, everybody who you see in the prison that is in America that's from Russia or many of these other countries, they're gonna be a big baddie. They're gonna get really caught with mountains of evidence against them, not some flim-flams bullshit that you expect from China or Russia. Oh, there's a flash drive. Oh, how'd you get the flash drive? Oh, they slipped it in my pocket. You know what I mean? The U.S., I at least give the U.S. government that much that they'll probably have videotapes and all type of, enemy of the state. They showing all those Polaroid cameras or Polaroid pictures of a motherfucker, walking up, shaking hands with somebody, you know what I mean? Wiretaps, whole conversations recorded. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the stuff? You know what I mean? Like all type of stuff that's actually like, yeah, we caught this dude red-handed, and that's why they're in prison. So anytime there's going to be an exchange or a swap between the U.S. and, and somebody else, the person that they're swapping, it's like mountains of evidence against them. They're the baddies. They're the one. They're the the, what do you call that? The Lord of War. They're Nicolas Cage riding around, in Uganda, selling rebels weapons and shit like that. Yeah, that's who you're gonna catch. That's exactly who you're gonna catch. So, and a lot of times they don't even catch these folks in the U.S. They catch them abroad. They catch them elsewhere. They go out there and they seek them. That's why, the U.S. military has bases all over the world. Aircraft carriers in every ocean at all times. Submarines in every ocean at all times. Y'all not really understanding, the influence, the power, the force, the naval influence of the U.S. military. You're not really understanding. You want to wonder why, why the prison industrial complex costs so much. Well, how much do you think it costs to have freaking bases in nearly every goddamn country? Why do you think your loved ones are constantly being deployed all the damn time? Because those bases have to be manned. They send people over the seas all the time. What do they tell people in the military? They're like, and the recruiters are like, and the best way to see the world is to join the U.S. military, because we're going to ship your ass out to all the bases we got all over this bitch. Exactly. So, yeah, the people that they're going to capture, you're not going to have, oh, we got a Russian in the U.S. Prison for he has some vape, and he went through TSA, and we had to lock his ass up for 16 years. You're not going to have anybody who's sitting in prison for that amount of time. It's always going to be a lopsided exchange, because other governments are more inclined to arrest Americans on bullshit. That's why there's certain countries you just don't go to. It's like that white boy that went up to fucking North Korea. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm going to steal this Korean sign. They got cameras in the hallway showing his ass taking the sign down. I'm like, you dumbass. Like, again, that's that white privilege. Fuck around and find out that you don't have any white privilege over there in Asia. Fuck around and find out. Especially in a country where, they don't fuck with the U.S. The U.S. is the enemy. Like, what would go through your mind other than, like, the immunity of white privilege to sit there and say, yeah, I'm an American citizen. I'm going to go to a country that we're literally, in nuclear conflict with. You know what I mean? But, hey, y'all do what y'all want to do. I just wanted to make the video pointing all this out, pointing out the hypocrisy, pointing out why I think a lot of white people are fucked up. Y'all prove it every day in the comment section. I don't want to hear no shit. Oh, you're racist. You're reverse racism. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Y'all demonstrate and highlight your racism every day in the comment section. Foaming at the mouth in the comment section with your bias ass arguments with no context, especially as it pertains to black people, because American U.S. history only started in 1985. Let you all tell it. I just don't know why the black people just can't do. Cause redlining, what's that? Blockbusting, what's that? Eminent domain, urban renewal, what's that? COINTELPRO, what's that? Iran-Contras, what's that? 1994 crime bill, what's that? And that's after 1985. You know what I mean? One, the motherfuckers come on here and want to play. I don't even think they're playing dumb. I just think they're dumb. They're dumb. Like, we have like just oceans of dumbass white people in America that don't know shit from piss. They don't know history. They have no fucking concept of like global politics, world politics, national politics. It's just sound bites and shit in their head that they just regurgitate online and think that they know something because they're fucking repeating, just flabbergasting and shit like that. That's not the word I'm looking for. You know what I'm talking about? It's just a bunch of bullshit that they heard off of Fox News. Oh, Sean Hannity said this. Ha ha ha. Who else? Who else is another voice? It's like these people that used to just love Rush Limbaugh type folks. Don't know shit from piss. You can't convince them of anything. Fucking motherfuckers are getting wrecked financially by the way that this crony capitalism shit is working. It's like, hey man, we need to join forces because we're all getting fucked and we have less than what people had 50 years ago. Fuck that. I'm not joining forces with no niggas. Like, oh my God, really? I'm talking about us both getting paid, motherfucker. What the fuck? I don't fuck with black people. Y'all's a bunch of didn't do nothing. Oh my God. Like, and they just leave it there. This is white America. It's like I don't have any hope with them. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, that's why I tell black people we need to fucking focus on us, stack our bread, work, more closely with each other. Let these white people folks run around and cry personal responsibility and reverse racism. That's the whole thing. That's the funny part. Because when black people do exercise personal responsibility, you know what I mean? They start screaming reverse racism. Right? When black people start exercising group economics, white people start screaming reverse racism. Oh, you black people, you're all mooches, and you're all on welfare, and you're all out here breathing up all the white man's air. Right? Okay. All right. I hear you. Yep. All right. We start working together and start putting some shit together. Then next thing you know, why is this nigga got a better car than me? See, that's the problem is affirmative action because it's racism against white folks. See, that's what the problem is. See, they don't need reparations for slavery. I mean, look, you got rich black people like LeBron James and Oprah Winfrey and Michael Jordan, see? Even though that's not even what the conversation was about. I'm like, you filed a complaint. You said black folks is committing crimes and they're dusty and they're on welfare and everything else like that. We're talking about the regular people working together to get their money up. And now all of a sudden you bringing up LeBron James and shit like that? Again, and truth be told, like, that's the goal, to get us to fucking, fix our own shit, right? Without the money that's owed, right? And then if black people were able to climb themselves out of this hole, then the argument will be that it's reverse racism, or the argument will be, see, black people didn't need reparations. See, they all right? Even though, despite the fact that we should be working together and doing what we're doing, it's like no, the reparations should be a part of that process. But see, again, when you start, trying to fight against this lopsided system, then it's like, see, they can do it, and then they'll throw up tokens here and there and whatnot, and then claim, see, he did it. I mean, the shit is fucked up. They're pathological. I said it before, I'll say it again. White folks in America are pathological. Just like Jane Elliott called out, and she's like, yeah, all white people are racist. They can't help it. If you grow up here with the television, the shit that they've been consuming, what's so funny is they got all this concern about LGBT and their children being indoctrinated, but nobody questions how white Americans are indoctrinated with that which is white America, and all these complexes that they have of these superiority complexes or ideas that they're the only hardworking Americans, that exist. You know what I mean? Or the only time that they want to bring up Asians or other minorities is only to slam black people, but they don't care for those people because of how un-American they are, because they retain their own culture that white folks stripped from black people. And we came out of slavery with nothing but the goddamn clothes on our back. But, again, like, it's just, this is them. Like, this is how they are. They can't help it. It's fucked up. But, the more you accept this reality, the less they'll surprise you. Because you already know what time it is. You already know how they process information, how they process shit. They're always going to highlight themselves as the victim. I'm like, you're the dominant group. What the fuck are you talking about? Everything you put in place was to put you in a position of advantage. You see? But, they'll never process it like that. Oh, I got here purely off of hard work. I'm like, really? So farmers are getting subsidized purely off of hard work, not because of the New Deal, right? Friggin' the middle class, the white middle class, got to where they got, not only because of hard work, not because of FHA loans and the way shit was set up, and how the U.S. government funded John Levitt to create Levittown and build 15,000 unbought single family home housing units. That has nothing to do with it. These white folks are delusional, man. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. That's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.